What is the next move in your mind for Vladimir Putin?
Well, I think he's literally out of moves. He's trying all of these different desperate actions. But the fact is, the reality that confronts Russia on the battlefield in Ukraine is that Ukraine has a vastly more capable and larger force than does the country that is more than 3 times their size. So the reality on the battlefield now is desperate for Putin. There's literally nothing he can do. It is irreversible.
Yeah.
The sham referendum, the annexation, that doesn't change anything. The Ukrainians are already taking back these areas that have been annexed about as quickly as Russia can annex them. The momentum on the battlefield is very much against Russia. They're scrambling just to establish new defensive positions. Now, don't misinterpret this. There's still an enormous amount of damage and destruction that Russia can do. They can punish, and they will continue to punish Ukraine on a daily basis with missiles and rockets and bombs and so forth. But at the end of the day, they cannot reverse the situation on the battlefield, which is going to see Ukraine taking back the territory that Russia has taken since 24 February, and perhaps taking back everything that Russia has taken from them since 2014. So
you're saying that Vladimir Putin, he's out of moves, but when he raises the prospect of a nuclear threat, do you believe it's a real one?
Oh, I think you have to take this very seriously. There's no question about that. There's no question about the capabilities that Russia has. But when you do the cost-benefit analysis, first and foremost, a tactical nuclear weapon doesn't change this dynamic I've just described. It probably makes it worse. Yes, there will be considerable death and destruction and irradiation of a location on that battlefield, but it won't reverse the situation in which Ukraine has a vastly bigger and better and more capable force than does Russia. Keep in mind also that obviously Ukraine this is their war of independence. They're fighting for their survival. The Russians aren't sure what they're fighting for. The people in the areas that they occupy hate them. Some of them are trying to kill them, carry out guerrilla warfare against them. The winter is going to be much tougher on the Russians than it will for the Ukrainians, who will be on their own soil, helped by their own citizens. And there's absolute unity behind President Zelensky to continue doing what he's doing. And we should all keep that in mind, because there are voices out there saying, well, now's the time to negotiate. At some point, certainly, as President Zelensky has said, at some point there will be some kind of negotiated resolution. But that's up for the Ukrainians to decide. It's not for the U.S. or those in Europe to start doing that for them. This is very much their war. The U.S. rightly has said, the administration, nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, and that's what we need to do going forward. But Putin is in a desperate, irreversible situation from which nothing I can imagine can extricate him.